Mother relay, we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Veteran trainer Rob McCracken says Lauren Price is potentially the Alexander Usyk of women's boxing.
I see the connection. I see why he says that.
Lauren Price could become the Alexander Usyk of women's boxing, suggests trainer Rob McCracken. Price, like Usyk, is an Olympic gold medalist and an international amateur like Usyk. She won European and world gold medals as well. It's not just winning the gold medals, though, because there are lots of gold medalists.
There have been.
Just the act of winning a gold medal is not enough to liken a fighter to Alexander Usyk. It's actually Lauren's implementation. It's how she fights. She brings the speed, mobility, agility to the table that you see from an Usyk. The footwork.
She'll scramble anybody's eggs.
The angles, the accuracy, the sharpness in her work, the quality of it. That's why I think Rob likens her to Usyk, and I see why. A southpaw, like Usyk is a southpaw, won the Olympic Games, and a host of other accolades at middleweight shows that Price has the ability to move up through the divisions. The world champion Usyk is a consummate example of that after going undisputed at both cruiser and heavy as a professional boxer. Lauren may end up doing the same thing at welter, junior middle, and middle. Price is only in the early stages of her own professional career, but she's already the WBA welterweight champion, and her goal is to become the undisputed champion at 147 before the end of this year.
So long as she can get the fights, I think she can. I think getting the fights will be more difficult than winning them.
And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about why. Rob McCracken said of Price, so potentially the Usyk of women's boxing, a bit of work to do yet, but a long career ahead of her to achieve that. She's a super talent. She proved that in winning everything as an amateur boxer throughout the world, not just in the UK. She won every tournament, Worlds, Europeans, Olympics, everything. She's a real talent, a lot of work to do moving forward, but a really good boxer, confident. She's naturally talented as well. She's got some real skill, real ability, and she's physical as well.
She was all I could hear about during those Olympics.
All I heard about. So when she crossed over into the paid ranks, I got my first look at her and I saw what everybody was talking about. I understood, but I still had my doubts because not every amateur standout makes for a great pro. They're different beasts, the amateurs and the pros. And at least in the beginning, Lauren's style looked very amateurish.
This ain't points fighting.
So that in her last two fights, the Jessica McCaskill fight, the Bexy Matias fight, I've noticed a change in her. A mean streak, a spitefulness.
Putting together her speed, her fundamentals, and her ferocity. You need to be fierce in the paid ranks, not just skill.
More than just finesse and fancy, flashy footwork. You need a ferocity to you to fight with a sense of urgency and spite. Lauren's been exhibiting that her last two fights, and this Friday, I think she's going to put it on display again. I have her knocking out Natasha Jonas.
And I say that with a heavy heart because I've been a fan of Natasha for years, and quite honestly, she's hot.
But I think Lauren is going to stop her. I think that Lauren is going to knock her out, and beyond that, she will undoubtedly pursue the winner of the Mayer versus Ryan rematch. So here's where things may get difficult.
Michaela Mayer won the first one. If by some chance Sandy Ryan wins the second, what we could be looking at is a trilogy between them, which would in effect delay Lauren's shot at the winner. That's if Sandy wins. If Michaela wins,
there may not be a delay, but it may still be a difficult fight to negotiate because Lauren and Boxer are going to want it in the UK. Michaela Mayer may want it in America. She had a run of bad luck in the UK, and I don't think she wants to go back.
She lost to Alicia Baumgartner in the UK. She got jobbed on the scorecards against Natasha Jonas in the UK. I don't think she wants to go back there to fight Lauren.
I don't think she wants to go back to the UK, so negotiating a fight between them could prove difficult enough that maybe it doesn't happen. Though when you talk about Lauren being the female Alexander Usyk, I could see that because honestly, I have her beating both Sandy Ryan or Michaela Mayer. Whoever wins between them, I think Lauren beats them.
Damn.
So it's not really even a question of who wins. It's a question of will the winner fight Lauren. If by some chance they don't, the silver lining for Lauren is she stands just as good, if not a better chance of becoming undisputed in the next division up. at junior middleweight. There are 4 champions there.
And I think Lauren Price would beat them all.
Her stiffest competition at that weight, really what I think is her stiffest competition anywhere at or around these weights, would have to be America's own O'Shea Jones, newly crowned IBF champion.
She's good, she's fast, but she's vulnerable. And we saw that in her last fight with Femke Hermans. That turned out to be a much more difficult fight than I thought it would be, and I think against Lauren, she would get outpointed.
Because O'Shea is fast, but Lauren is faster, and she's not just fast, she's getting better, much better.
Middleweight.
It's the same at middleweight. You may think that Clarissa Shields is somebody she has to worry about, but Clarissa's all the way up there at heavyweight, and she's decided to stay up there, vacating her light heavyweight title for her heavyweight titles. So I don't think that Lauren has to worry about Clarissa, at least not in the immediate future. It's a ghost town. It's a wasteland at middleweight mostly.
There's only one champion there, IBF champion Desley Robinson, who I would pick Lauren Price to beat right now.
So when you think about that, and you think about Rob McCracken's parallel comparing Lauren to Usyk, I can see it because the potential for her to become an undisputed champion at 2, maybe even 3 weights, it's there.
And it all starts this weekend when she beats Natasha Jonas, because I'm fairly confident she's not just gonna beat her, she's gonna stop her.
I love Natasha Jonas because she's so goddamn hot.
But in the spirit of objectivity, she's not gonna win.
She's gonna be the launch pad for Lauren Price's boxing career.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, what seems to be a redaction from the World Boxing Association.
There was an article on the WBA's website that suggested the decision not to award Lamont Roach a knockdown of Gervonta Davis when he took a knee in round 9 was quote-unquote not unreasonable or unjustifiable.
There was an article
That stated, from our perspective, referee Steve Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. He ruled in real time that Davis had not been struck by a punch before going down, and therefore no knockdown should be recorded, except that's not accurate. Right before Gervonta Davis takes a knee, Lamont Roach lands a left hand.
No, it wasn't a hard left hand or a punishing left hand, but he did land a punch, and Gervonta subsequently took a knee.
So for the article in question to suggest otherwise is a gross misrepresentation of the facts, and quite frankly, the WBA at this time is not at liberty to take a stance on this because it's the commission that sets the tone.
Not them.
And the article in question has since been taken down from the WBA's website, likely with that in mind, that if this goes the other way,
Redacted.
you don't want to be at odds with the commission because they're the ones with the actual teeth in the matter. They're the ones with the power to do something, and if they do,
Redacted.
if you try to hold to your initial stance, you may be subject to a lawsuit.
Why?
Say the New York State Athletic Commission decides to award Lamont Roach the victory, but the WBA doesn't want to award him the title. He could then theoretically pursue legal action against them with all the evidence, all the video evidence being against them. And with a ruling from the New York State Athletic Commission, that would strengthen his case.
So the WBA doesn't want to take a position just yet, which is why they have since taken down that article saying, we would like to clarify that the opinions and comments expressed in this article are the sole responsibility of the author and do not represent the views of the WBA. You can read the columnist's comments and opinions at the following link that is now a dead link because there is no article.
They redacted it. They took it down. It's because at this time, they are not at liberty to take a position on this. They have to let the New York State Athletic Commission rule on it and follow suit.
Here's an example.
When Alicia Baumgartner tested positive for a banned substance, the reason that none of the alphabet organizations stripped her of any of her titles is because the commission never suspended her.
The commission sets the tone. They're the only ones with teeth. The most an alphabet organization can do is strip you of their title, but that has to be based on the commission's ruling.
In situations like these, where a contest has actually taken place, they let the commission set the tone, and up until they do, they're not in a position to take a stance.
Because they need the commission's ruling to fortify their own position. Without that, they could be subject to a lawsuit that the commission ruled This guy won the fight,
But for some reason, you don't want to give him his belt.
all the evidence is going to be on the other guy's side, and you will be left vulnerable. So I see why the WBA did what they did.
While some still attempt to play defense attorney for Gervonta Davis resident bootlicker Ali Sucksack.
Juggling Gervonta Davis's nutsack.
He says, I'm not a fan of fighters going the lawyer route. It's a sign of weakness.
Did he say that about Deontay Wilder's mediation arbitration in the Fury fight?
I don't remember him taking a hardline stance like this one when Deontay Wilder decided to lawyer up. Former IBF champion Caleb Truax asked, you're not a fan of fighters protecting themselves? That draw cost Lamont Roach 7 figures. He'd be an idiot if he doesn't do all he can to recoup that. To which Ellie responded, he will get paid regardless, but I think it will do more damage to him trying to go through the legal system.
Damage? What damage?
Fight Hub TV conducted an independent poll with a sample size of about 170,000 voters, and an overwhelming number of them think Lamont Roach won the fight. About 56%. 21% thought Gervonta won, and the other 21% thought the draw was fair, but 56 saw Lamont Roach winning the fight out of 170,000 people. So what damage are you referring to, Ellie?
Damage to his butthole because he's butthurt.
Ellie continued, it looks like he's soft and doesn't believe in his own ability.
This guy can't be serious.
That he won't be able to fight like that again. Why reward him with a rematch if he goes this route?
So that he doesn't have to pursue a rematch, because by all rights, he won. And you're trying to blot out the sun with your index finger when the rest of us can see it just fine. Lamont won that fight, and he should have been awarded the victory. Because he wasn't, this is what he has to resort to.
Lamont Roach, who said, I did take care of that shit in the ring, Ellie. You about to make me get on your ass with this bias shit. I know he's your peoples and shit, but leave it be. I ain't sue nobody, mofo. I'm getting a clear knockdown situated that they robbed me of. Get it right, mofo. Report that.
He can't see the truth. He can't really see much of anything past Gervonta Davis's nutsack while he's down there smoking his pole. Ellie Sackback is a ridiculous person.
Any grown man who so shamelessly glazes another as much as he glazes Gervonta Davis, there's no reasoning with a person like that if you had any self-respect...
Get off your knees.
You think it's soft that Lamont Roach decided to lawyer up? What do you think Gervonta looks like blaming his entire thing on hair grease?
My pussy pops severely, and yours don't.
This is not about boxing. The guy's like Ellie Sackback. He's just physically attracted to Gervonta, so he's standing by his man.
Posing as a boxing fan or posing as a reporter.
He's really just a groupie, so your opinion doesn't count.
Nobody takes you seriously, Ellie Sackback.
You could say that you don't lose any sleep over that, but then why are you trying so hard to defend Gervonta Davis then? Who is it you're trying to appeal to? All the people that don't take you seriously?
Shut the hell up.
They said the first one was a monkey named Lucy.
You Afro-Latino?
Fuck you.
You Afro-Latino?
I'm everything, bro.
But you feel
I'm
that's the best way to
God.
promote?
I'm sent by God.
That's the best way to promote boxing, by doing these, making these comments. Do you
No,
feel that's right?
no, but it's boxing. Everything should go.
Yeah, but racism is not boxing.
I'm not racist.
Then why you say racist shit?
That's not racist. It's how y'all take it. It's how you guys take it. A banana's potassium.
Come on, man.
You guys portray an item that's being, what is it? What is it called? A not superficial. What is it? You know how they have things that stereotypes. You guys added the stereotype. All I did, the same thing with the banana eating and laughing at it. You guys thought that I said that shit.
Why you say apple or something?
Huh?
Why you say apple or something?
An apple? I got an apple.
Why you didn't say that? You said
What
banana.
you mean? A banana?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can say any fruit.
Any fruit. The darker the deeper the... Okay, how does it go about Tupac? All right, it says the darker the flesh, the deeper the roots.
Teofimo doesn't seem to know if he wants to play the heel or not. The reason I say this is because you know what you're saying, and you know why you're saying it. You also know what kind of reactions it's going to elicit, so that when you're pressed about it, you try to clean it up.
When you know what you meant, and so does everybody else. So just own it.
He doesn't. I remember ahead of Adrian Bronor's fight with Manny Pacquiao, he made some bigoted statements, something to the tune of eating cats or eating dogs.
About Manny, about Manny's people, something in poor taste. But he said it, and he owned it.
And that's not me praising Adrian Broner for what he said so much as acknowledging that if you're gonna play the heel, you have to be that guy 100% of the time, and you have to own it. You can't apologize for it, because if you do, well, that just makes you look weak.
Why would he want to play the heel, though?
The basic idea is you want to ruffle people's feathers to galvanize them against you, so that they will then pay to see you lose, like they used to pay to see Floyd Mayweather lose. The fundamental flaw with this stratagem is you have to be as good as Floyd Mayweather for it to work, because if you're not,
You won't get there. You won't get to make what Mayweather made, that Mayweather money.
Teofimo Lopez is no Floyd Mayweather. I think that much is established, and he lacks the courage of his convictions.
Slapped.
You go out of your way to ruffle people's feathers with racially charged comments or racially charged behavior so that you can then apologize for it when they ask you.
It's not what I said, it's how you take it.
But you knew how they were going to take it, which is why you said it. So when they press you about it, own the character.
You want to be Dr. Robotnik? You want to be Dr. Evil? Go ahead. Just don't clam up.
Don't bitch up when your own practices paint you into a corner. You draw more flies with honey. You want to endear yourself to the boxing fans? Stop trying to be a character.
Win your fights. Try not to lose to guys like George Kambosos, because that's what derailed all of your momentum. You know that up until that point, Teofimo was on his way.
He made good on his word. He said for a long time he would beat Vasyl Lomachenko, and he beat Vasyl Lomachenko. It's after that that everything spirals out of control. Your issue isn't your lack of charisma.
Your lack of swagger.
Style. I don't actually consider Teofimo Lopez a native New Yorker. Maybe he passed through New York on the way to Florida, because he looks more like a Floridian to me.
He's trying to be a lot of things for all the things that he is not, when you don't have to go through any of that if you just focus on your fights.
You better focus on Arnold stylistically. I've never liked this fight for Teofimo Lopez, and now I'm left wondering, with 4 fighters boxing that weekend, 4 of Eddie Reynoso's fighters, in Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia,
In New York.
and Jaime Munguia and Canelo Alvarez in Saudi, Eddie Reynoso can't be in 2 places at the same time. Where is he gonna be? Is he going to be in Teofimo's corner when he faces Arnold?
That's supposed to be your ace in the hole.
He's not an ace in anything if he's not there, not physically there to guide you through this challenge.
Teofimo Lopez, just another infantile American fighter that needs to stop playing around.